Welcome to the Zelda Informer podcast. I am your host, Alfred Tabex, joined today by Darren, our resident badass and editor.
What's up?
Andy can't make it today. He is sicker than I am, and I'm not feeling too hot. So, you know how they say, like, when couples get sick, like, when one person in a couple gets sick, the other one does? I think Andy and I share that kind of bond together. He might not see it
I
that
think
way.
so too. I'm a little jealous, to be honest. But, just how things go, I guess.
Yep. So we are going to talk about Breath of the Wild today. Surprise, surprise, as we will probably do for a while on. So we're going to have a few short conversations about that. Then we're going to talk about E3, which I know is a little bit off, a few months away. But we're going to talk about our expectations for that and what we hope to see, what we want to see, and just talk. We're just going to talk like we always do, with no real point.
So friendly conversation.
First off, we're going to talk about our progress in Breath of the Wild. I sent off my Joy-Con yesterday to go get repaired, so currently I cannot play Breath of the Wild for a week or any of the other games on the Switch, sadly, because I don't want to shell out $70 for a Pro Controller. So Darren, you go ahead, and I'll say where I am after you.
Alright, I have completed the main story, beat Calamity Ganon, all 120 shrines, completed the Hyrule Compendium, currently have like 50 Korok seeds, which I know kind of sucks. Currently in the middle of trying to get all those. My goal is to 100% the game. I am trying to do that before the DLC comes out in summer. I think it's summer, the first pack. But right now I am chiefly trying to upgrade all of my armor, and that kind of sucks because I have to farm a lot of dragon parts, scales, horns, whatnot. But that is nothing compared to the crap that is getting a bunch of shooting stars, star bits, whatever the heck they're called.
That's awful.
I have like 3. And
I can't even find one.
How many is it? It's like 100.
You need one at the beginning for each item, and then it's like 150 star bits to do the entire set with all the amiibo costumes. It's rough.
It's awful. And you know, I think harvesting the dragon parts is hard because, I mean, it's just sitting there waiting for the dragon to come by and standing in a specific spot. But it's like the star bits are going to be the same thing, except there's no guarantee that a star bit will fly by. Now, I know there is a farming method, but
there is?
It's still very time consuming. Yes, there is. I've seen like 2 or 3 videos on it. I think we put it up on the site, actually. Basically, you sleep 8 nights or until there's a full moon, stand in a specific spot, and then when you see a shooting star come down, go grab it, then go back to that spot, sleep 8 nights, and repeat until you have 150 star bits.
Okay. So it's really time consuming.
Really time consuming.
So.
I thought that you could get them from Lynels, which you can. You can totally get starbits from Lynels. However, that's even more time consuming. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. I've done, I think I talked about this already, I've already beat the main story, done all the shrines. I think I'm 72 Korok seeds in. In terms of side quests, I don't know how many there are, and I don't know where I am in terms of those.
It tells you. It tells you in the Sheikah Slater, the quest log, or whatever the heck it is. It says 76 of however many shrine quests or side quests completed.
No. I meant side quests in general. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I know that is because I went to see the number of shrine quests I had beat. And even though I have beaten all 120 shrines, I still have like 4 shrine quests that I haven't even found yet, which is a little awkward. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird way to handle it. That you actually have to go. Post shrine completion and find it to be completed. It's weird like that, but I don't know how many shrines, or I know I've beaten all the shrines. I don't know how many quests I've done. I've done a lot. There's some that I'm just having trouble with.
Have you done the Terrytown side quest?
Oh yeah, no, I finished that. That was probably
I know.
one of the most satisfying.
That was awesome.
The ending to that with the weddings is just so funny.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like the first wedding in a Zelda game, right?
No, you have it in Majora's Mask.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
It's not like a full like attended thing, but it's still like they'd share masks and get the couple's mask, and that's considered the wedding in Termina.
Yeah, you're right.
But I just love the fact that everything has to end with sun, and
I don't know.
It's
so Nintendo.
Yeah, it was really good though. That was one of my. It was a giant fetch quest, but it was still pretty fun.
It's like for a fetch quest, it was pretty fun, and I lost it when he was like, find someone priest-like. I'm like, who would be priest-like? Oh, it was Zora.
Yep, that's one of that. I think that was my favorite side quest, my favorite shrine quest, and pretty much everyone I can think of that has played the game to get all of the shrines would agree that Eventide Island is their favorite shrine quest.
That was a good one.
It was just it felt. I mean, I don't know. It felt like somebody described it like the beginning of the game. Like you're going into it with, no idea of what to expect, and then I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's actually pretty fun if you haven't played it yet. But it just it gives you the feeling you got when you first played the game.
Exactly. That's exactly the feeling I felt because I mean, right now I've done so much of the game, contrary to what the percent counter says at the bottom of the map. But I've done so much of the game, and it's almost like before I played the game, I was reading a review. I'm not sure which website this was on, probably IGN, GameSpot, one of those. The reviewer said, I envy the people who have yet to experience this game for themselves and are going to go into it for the first time. That's kind of what I'm feeling like right now. The Eventide quest brought that up because it's feeling like you're playing the game again for the first time. I miss that. It was like a one day thing where it's like, yeah, I'm playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. I have no idea what to expect, and now I have all the shrines, all the armor. So, I do envy those people who have yet to play the game. It's that the Eventide quest kind of rekindled that feeling of playing for the first time.
It's that sense of discovery that you don't really have if you've played the whole game over again,
right?
Or if you played the whole game already. Because
if I go back and play Ocarina of Time right now and I walk out into Hyrule Field, I'm not going to feel the same way I felt the first time I did, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's also the game makes you revisit so many locations and so many areas that you, as big as the map is, you begin to learn it and you begin to know what it looks like and what to expect when you go to certain places and how to get to certain places. And so you no longer have the sense of discovery. I mean, it's still there. There are things that I've, like small hideouts and like small areas that I haven't been to yet. That aren't really shrines, aren't really side quests. They're just areas that I haven't been to. So there still is that sense of discovery. It's just not as vast as it was when I started the game for the first time.
Right.
It's not to say that it's a bad game. I'm just saying that you don't have the same sense when you walk out of the game after you've done so much that you did when you began.
As with any game, really. I mean, once you've experienced
it's not
a lot
problem.
of it, it's not new anymore.
Yeah. And again, that's not a problem. That's not something negative to say about the game. It's just there is that side quest, the shrine quest, really takes you back, and gives you a sense of nostalgia for the game you're playing, which is.
And here's a positive to that point of you kind of get a feel for the map and you're not finding as much. I mean, even today, as I was kind of going around exploring just because I was bored, I think I found some ruins with a Bokoblin camp there, and I'm like, oh, I do not remember this at all. I have not been here before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of little areas like that. It's like, oh, here's this cave over here. I have never been in here. Or here's another Bokoblin camp, or a lake, So, I mean, even though you get a feel for the game in its map, since it's so huge, you're constantly discovering stuff, even when you felt that you've already discovered most of what the game has to offer. There's always more.
Mm-hmm. There's always more side quests, too. Like, I think that I've found all the side quests, and then I go somewhere, and there's several more.
Yeah.
Like, I found one where you have to go find Princess Zelda's horse.
Yeah, I have that one. I haven't done it yet.
The horse is pretty awesome. Next to Epona's, I'd say it's probably the best horse in the game.
Okay, because I have Epona and the giant horse too.
Yeah, the giant horse is a sight to behold. I accidentally carried that thing into battle with me, so that's what I had during the Ganon fight.
I had Epona.
Yeah, it was.
I wondered if it would give you Epona regardless, or if it would use the horse that you just had out. So I guess that answers my question.
Yeah, no, it uses the horse that you have when you get, like, that you have out in the world at that point. Okay. And also, that's one thing that I really like about the game, is that if you have a horse anywhere in the world, let's say that you were at Mount Hylia and your horse was all the way across the map, but you were right next to a stable. And all you had to do
technically impossible because Mount Hylia is on the Great Plateau.
No, I know, but you were next to us, like, on the opposite side of the Great Plateau, like, not inside the Great Plateau, but next to it. There is a stable, and you just paraglide down, and you can have them go get your horse and bring it to you.
I know, I love it.
If you want to stay in that area.
I was so panicked one day because it was by Hiteno Village. I had Epona there, and I had accidentally gone down this cliffside. It wasn't really a cliff; it was more of a hill. But she was stranded on this shoreline because there was a lake right at the bottom of that hill, and there was no way to get out. So for like 20 minutes, I'm trying to bomb Epona, like, into the water and have her swim, but each time she would just swim back, and so I'd try and push her and it wouldn't work. And then I caught another horse and whatnot, and then I registered the horse, and then a while later I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll take Epona back into our care now. And it's like, really? Sweet. Oh, it feels so good. And I also lost another horse before that, which I actually named Zacky, which if anyone doesn't know who that is, it's one of the copy editors here at Zelda Informer. And I was so sad because, like, no, I lost Zacky. That was, like, my first horse. And not to mention the fact that it's named Zacky, because we promised to name horses after each other. And so, like, I mean, it was almost like they were dead because you couldn't use them again. But I was so happy because we could get them back.
But you could still bring back dead horses.
I know, which is also good, because I killed a horse for the first time yesterday.
Did you kill it? Or was it killed in
I did not. I was fighting who knows what. I think it was Step Talus or something. Or Stone Talus, I'm sorry, they changed it. But and then the horse died, and I was so sad. Like, I didn't think I would be sad until it happened. Because up until that point, I had not killed a horse yet, or had seen a horse killed. I mean, I'd beaten the game. I was just really careful not to put my horse into the way of danger, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Almost cried.
Yep. Every time... Oh, sorry. After you resurrect a horse once, you have to pay them an Endura carrot each time to resurrect another horse. I know this because another horse died during a Guardian battle that I was having. I had to go resurrect the horse because it was Zelda's horse, and it was the second best horse in the game.
Didn't you kill a horse? What was its name? You put it on Facebook.
Jimothy.
Jimothy, I know. I was so sad when I saw that. I'm like, oh, he killed a horse? I hope that never, ever happens to me. And then like a week later, the horse is dead.
He fell down a mountainside, then I brought him back to life so he could experience pain once more.
That's awful. I'm going to feel awful for saying this, but I intentionally murdered a horse today.
One of yours?
Stole a horse. Yeah, I stole a horse from a bokoblin and kind of just like ran it off a cliff to see like how far it would fall, like if it would disappear before it got, because it was a pretty far drop. Wanted to see if it would disappear or not.
Yeah.
And I followed it down, and it did not. It was screaming all the way down. And it hit the ground, and I felt so bad.
You're a sadistic
I know I'm
person.
laughing now, but I felt so bad. Because, I mean, it was awful.
It didn't choose to be captured by the bokoblins. You just killed it because of its circumstance.
Which, by the way, is another mechanic I love. Stealing horses from bokoblins. That's like the best.
Fun fact, you can freeze horses too.
Yes,
I love turn them into ice.
And freeze the bokoblin on top too, so it's just frozen midair.
Yep.
I love it.
That's where we are in the game. Killing horses and looking for Korok seeds.
Yep, all 9 freaking hundred of them.
Side note, whenever you drop a rock on the Korok's heads, they make the most adorable sound in the entire world.
I know. I discovered that by accident. It's just like, oh, well, don't need this rock anymore. Dropped it, and then the Korok's like, ah! And I'm like, oh, sorry.
It's just like, that is unreasonably cute. I don't know why. I just think it's hysterical.
We posted some fan art on the Zelda Informer Facebook page of Link dropping a rock on a Korok, and Nate's caption was, every damn time.
So let's talk about whether or not we think Breath of the Wild deserves its 10s across the board, aside from like the 1 or 2 rates.
Don't even talk to me.
So you think that unequivocally it deserves a perfect score, there are no errors in it?
Alright, well here's the thing. I believe Nintendo Life went into a bit about this. I personally would rate the game a 10. In fact, I did. I have a mini article going up in Switch Player Magazine this April. It's kind of like a mini review, and I give Breath of the Wild a 10 because no game is perfect. I mean, there are some things in Breath of the Wild that annoy me. However, it comes as close to perfection as I think a game could. No one, one person could say this game does not annoy me at all, it's perfect, it's the epitome of perfection, and another person could say, well, it has this one or two things that annoy me, so it can't be perfect for everyone. And it's not 100% perfect for me, but I don't think any game can really, really reach that point. But it can get really close to it. And I think that's what Breath of the Wild has done. I think it deserves all the 10s it gets. Whatever the 9, 9.5, sure, that's great too. But I definitely think, those outlets that say 10 out of 10, it's awesome, best game in years, I wholeheartedly agree with them.
See, I want
In fact, I think not only is this my favorite Zelda game, that is without a doubt a fact. That is my favorite Zelda game. I think this is my most favorite game of all time.
See, I think and here's kind of where I fall on that one. I think it's the best Zelda game of all time. I don't think it's my favorite still. I still think Wind Waker is my favorite, just because of the attachment I have to that game.
So you're basically saying your favorite is an inferior Zelda game.
Yeah, it's not the best Zelda game.
Okay.
It's just my favorite based on different factors like attachment rate to the game, what I thought about the overall characters and stuff, like just how I feel about it. That's what my favorite's based off of. I still think Breath of the Wild is the best Zelda game to ever come out. And here's the thing, like I agree with you that it comes as close to being perfect as possible, but I don't agree that it should gotten 10s across the board. It didn't. I know, it didn't get them across the board, but it got near perfect scores everywhere. And so I'd rank it about a 9 or a 9.5. And not because there are like bugs in it or anything. I don't think I've actually encountered anything like that.
I have. I definitely have.
I mean, I probably have. I just can't think of any specific instances right now. But I'd say my biggest...
I just love it when I try and hit a moblin on top of one of the bokoblin camps, and then the game freezes, and then unfreezes, and the moblin falls through the wood. That's great.
I think my biggest complaint with the game, and this is just because I'm such a huge story fetishist, if you want to call me that, is I loved the story in the terms of the flashbacks and how it was told. Very unique way, and is very well done. My one problem was with Ganon, and his lack of a character. And I'm not going to really spoil anything, but there's really nothing to spoil in this sentiment. But like, you don't learn anything about him. This is like basically, aside from the flashbacks, aside from the other characters in the game, Ganon is what he was in the original Zelda game, and that was just a generic evil that was plaguing the land. And from how the characters have progressed in Zelda games over the years, from even just A Link to the Past, like that was a more complex Ganon. And then we saw Ganondorf, who was a complex character in Ocarina of Time, who had some sort of sympathy that you could feel for him. He was the only man in a Gerudo tribe that the Gerudo tribe were outcasts in terms of the entire kingdom of Hyrule. So he felt justified in what he was doing. Of course, he was corrupted by evil later on. But then you have him in Wind Waker, the same kind of motive. You have Vaati in the Four Swords games. Like the characters just get more intricate, and even in Skyward Sword, you've got Girahim and Demise. That they're not complex, but they have character and they have backstory to them. Ganon, and I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, is that Ganon felt the same way that I feel about a lot of Marvel villains, like aside from like Loki, in that they're mostly just used as a vehicle through which to tell the story. So they're not compelling villains. They're just a tool to expand upon the other characters of the game. And I was let down by that, because again we've seen Ganondorf and we've seen Ganon and Demise take these like personifications, and so it's been a while since we had a boss or a main villain in a series that was just like an evil entity that didn't really think. It was just instinctive. And I mean, that's still like, that's menacing, but it just seemed more of like, oh, well, we have to beat Ganon, and because we're beating Ganon, here's like the story behind these characters. It was more of a look into the characters than it was an overall story towards like, well, what happened to Ganon to make him this way? Well, he's always been this way. What happened before that? Well, we don't know. Like, it's just 10,000 years this happened, and it happened again 10,000 years later, 100 years later, whatever. And that was my biggest complaint with the story, and I guess just with the game, is that one specific thing. And again, I appreciate what they've done with the story. It's a very good story for a Zelda game. We haven't had one like this ever. But there's always room for improvement, and I think that they need to improve on their villain in the Zelda game, the Zelda series as a whole, going from here forward in terms of using Ganon or Ganondorf. That's just my opinion on that. That was my biggest complaint with the game. It's not something that's going to like, oh, well, this game was originally a 10 in my head, but now it's a 4. No, it's still a great game. That's just my biggest complaint with the game. And so, like, I see where people are coming from and saying it deserves a 10. I think say it's the best game ever, best Zelda game ever, and I agree it's the best Zelda game ever. And it probably, in my opinion, it is one of the best games ever. Dwarfs Ocarina of Time in comparison.
Yes, Ocarina of Time sucks compared to Breath of the Wild. That's right, you heard it here first.
I think Darren's been spending too much time with Nate, but
No, I adore Ocarina of Time. I just wanted to say that I like Breath of the Wild so much better.
Well, it's almost an unfair comparison at this point because you look at these games and it's just so much more vast and it's so much more ambitious compared to the technology they had.
Yeah, it's got technological advances. But before we get away from the Ganon topic, I wanted to say I had not heard that criticism until you just brought it up. Mm-hmm. So is that like a common thing people are saying, or is that?
I don't know. I don't think I've actually heard anyone talk about it. I might actually write an editorial on it.
Okay, because to be honest, I never really thought about it until you brought it up. I mean, I guess I did notice that. Okay, Ganon really doesn't have much of a. I mean, he didn't even speak at all, really.
Yeah.
So.
I
guess when you said it was kind of like he was in the first Zelda game, I don't know if that's actually a negative to me. It's kind of like a little charming like throwback. Like, yeah, Ganon's just this dude. He's evil. But I guess to the Zelda fan, like, we know what he's done in the past. But someone who's just playing Zelda won't. They'll just be like, oh, this guy, Ganon, he's evil.
Yeah, but they spent enough time building up other characters for it to not make sense that the big evil that's supposedly been plaguing the land for 10,000 years or so doesn't have any like character to him. And, that was like it's the same thing like I mentioned the Marvel characters. Like you look at Mads Mikkelsen's character in Doctor Strange, really wasn't like he didn't have a big part, and he could have been replaced with any character. It didn't have to be specifically him, but he was a vehicle through which the story was told. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, same thing. The first Thor movie, second, like most of them, aside from Loki, like I said, he's the only one that's been given more of a concrete personality throughout the show, and we've seen him being built up a lot. That's one of the bigger criticisms with Marvel films is their villains are one-dimensional vehicles through which a story is told, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it becomes repetitive and dry after a while. And I would have liked to see more in terms of Ganon with the game, mostly because, again, I just want to, like, after we have just seen Demise, we have seen the starting point of all the evil in Hyrule. Basically, the Satan of this world. We go from a menacing character threat that is smart and conniving and has a plan to Ganon, who is characterless and is just an amorphous like thing. It just felt more like a letdown, kind of like you get to the final boss and it's just nothing.
I was expecting a little dialogue at the end.
Yeah,
to be honest, I'm not sure how I would have felt about it though, because I mean, you don't hear anything from him during the entire game, so him just talking to them, I'm not sure if it would be weird or not. Because, I mean, he is just some weird thing that you see, like a weird beast thing, so I'm not sure how him talking would go. Like, it would have been nice to see maybe like a humanoid form, but we didn't get that.
Well, it's kind of like how in Twilight Princess you had the fight with Zelda, then you had the fight with Beast Ganon, and then you had the fight with Ganondorf. Like the one-on-one fight on the horseback, and then the fight in that ring. And I agree. I was talking to John Moore about this a long time ago, it was sometime last year, and he said that was one of his favorite scenes in any Zelda game. And I pretty much agree with that. Like, I think that was such an amazing way to have a battle. Like on horseback and then in a field like that, in a enclosed space. It's just thematic, and I really enjoyed that. And I don't know why, I had this like idea in my mind of like the perfect way that the story would play out. And I knew that this wasn't going to happen. Like, I knew that there was no chance that they were going to do this. But I had like, if I was writing the ending to Breath of the Wild, okay, I would have had like an old man just in the middle of all of this carnage, like in that chamber that you eventually reach, and he's just old, he's tired, he's worn out,
Like the one on top of the castle or the bottom?
Just like when you fight Ganondorf. This is how or Ganon. This is how the fight starts.
Okay.
Right when you fight, and you get to this point, there's just an old man, just like standing there or sitting there.
And it's the old man from the Great Plateau.
No, he's just tired and worn out. And he's like, my name's Ganondorf. And he's like years ago I tried taking this kingdom with this power. And I succeeded, but I never expected it to go this out of control. And then he's like, I need you to end it. And then you go into this fight with Beast Ganon, and then eventually you have to put him down. And like, I don't know why.
Wait, so he's literally like, I'm going to go into my other super powerful form so you can kill me.
No. It's like that form is taken control. Like it's gone out. It's gone out of control, and it's like ruling.
Wait, so Ganon and Ganondorf are living two separate entities in the Breath of the Wild.
Well, kind of.
Well, in your canon.
Well, like kind of, but like it's more of it's a part of him that he's always had, but it's taking over his rationality. Like the primal beast side is taking over his cunning side and his like rational side. And I don't know why. Maybe I've just been watching too much anime, but that's kind of how I wanted that to play out.
That actually sounds pretty epic. I wish that would have happened.
And then like he's in your arms and he's dying. He's like, I'm so sorry for everything I've done and for all the things that I've done. I never expected it to go this far. And then that's how his like that story ends. Because I'm still not
that's really deep.
I'm still not 100% sure what happened at the end of the game, in terms of Ganon and Ganon, like, you know, how that ended. I don't want to go into any more spoilers in that. We already had a spoiler cast on that too, but it was unclear for us then. It's still unclear for me how that happened.
How was that unclear? I mean, I didn't listen to the spoiler cast, so.
Well, did they kill him? Did they seal him away?
No, they sealed him because Zelda literally says Ganon is sealed away, and then she says for now.
Yeah, but at some point she says this is this is the end of Ganon. He can no longer reincarnate. And so,
what?
Yeah, apparently that's what Nate and Andy were talking about. Is that at some point she says that
doesn't make any sense.
I know, I'm aware. So there's some.
She literally said that he's gone for now.
I know.
I need to do some research. This is not good.
Yeah, I thought that she just said that she's gone for now, that he's gone for now, but they think they heard something else along those lines. So I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't gone back for that. But
cue the Breath of the Wild is the last Zelda game ever fan theories on YouTube.
Yeah, that we'll see about that. So we've talked about Breath of the Wild. We've talked about favorite things and stuff. Let's talk about E3. It's about 3 months away. Well, probably about 2 months away. By the time you listen to this, yeah, I'll be on I'll be leaving for my honeymoon the day it starts. So
we told Alfred that he should go to E3 for his honeymoon.
Yeah, that would not have gone over well with my soon-to-be wife, especially since she's really excited to go to Florida and spend time on a beach. But
nice.
Let's talk about E3 expectations, hopes, and dreams. So again, this is probably going to be focused around Nintendo because that's not that I don't care about anything else, but I've gotten significantly less liberal with my money as of late, being considerable about how I spend it and stuff. So I've only got Nintendo consoles, don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox. So not that I don't care about those, I just can't afford to care about them. So let's.
I can't afford to care. I gotta use that sometime. That's good.
Physically don't have the monetary power to care about.
It's not that I don't care. It's just that I can't afford to. That's great.
But yeah, let's talk about Nintendo's E3. Reggie said that they were going to have, or he's predicting that they're going to have a huge E3 this year. And one of the things that we heard...
I think he would know. I think he would know for sure.
A lot of the articles, I mean, I'm hoping that it's a big E3. What I'm hoping that they do And I think they talked about how they were going to step away from directs and stuff after Kimishima took over. I'm really hoping they have a physical presence at E3 beyond what they had last time with just a show floor. I really want them to step out on that stage, have a conference, like a physical conference with people, like they did with the Switch conference, albeit a whole lot better and not as cringeworthy. Like just to
I
start
still feel sorry for that translator.
Yeah, that was an interesting night for all involved. But I just want to see them do. I want to see the old Nintendo, considering they're going back to more of their roots in terms of how games are made and played. I want to see that old Nintendo that engages with their fans, has stuff out in the open, kind of like when they did the Robot Chicken thing, or when they did the Puppets or the Star Fox thing. I want to see that again, and I want to see that in a physical setting where they're up in front of people and they can play it on the screen or whatever they want to do. But I'm really hoping that that's what we see, just to start off with. I'm not talking about games or anything just yet, but I want to see them physically there in a conference setting.
Okay, sounds fair. I'd like that too. I personally don't mind the digital presentation, but I would definitely like, a more Sony or Microsoft-esque conference.
Yeah. So what are you thinking game-wise then?
Game-wise, I've tweeted about this 3 times in the past couple days. I think because I really want it. Animal Crossing Switch. Because I am a huge, huge Animal Crossing fan. And we will not talk about the disappointments known as Amiibo Party and Happy Home Designer, thank you. And, with the Animal Crossing mobile game coming up, I'm hoping, they'll be like, hey, here's a Switch game, and then the app and the game on Switch will, play nice with each other. And they'll be like, yeah, cool. I just hope that app doesn't suck like Super Mario Run does. Anyways, Animal Crossing Switch, like traditional Animal Crossing, but better. Kind of like New Leaf was. Hoping for some Zelda DLC goodness. Maybe a trailer of some sort. Because we really don't have that many details. Just some random, new map mechanic, new dungeon. Now that intrigues me, that new dungeon. Before it was whatever, new dungeon. But now that we know what the dungeons are, it's like, well, how is this new dungeon going to fit into the story? Will it fit into the story at all? That's a whole nother discussion. But, so Zelda DLC trailer, or details. Heck, even a demo of the DLC, that would be great. Metroid Prime, please, maybe. Metroid game. That would be great. Can't think of anything else that I really want. Oh, right, Hyrule Warriors. I want to see a Hyrule Warriors definitive edition or Hyrule Warriors 2, whatever. I just want Breath of the Wild Link in Hyrule Warriors and Groose. That's it. I just want
Groose.
That'd be great.
Let loose the Groose.
Playing Hyrule Warriors on the go is great, but the thing is now that you have to do it on the 3DS, and it sucks on the 3DS.
Well,
except it does. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's better on the new 3DS.
Yeah, but playing new characters, better graphics on the go, that'd be pretty great. And Smash, I can get down for some Smash, whether it's Smash 4, Smash 5. I'd be completely fine with a Smash 4 Deluxe Edition, Director's Cut, whatever you want to call it, or brand new Smash. Doesn't matter to me.
XD Director's Cut.
XD Director's Cut and Knuckles Collection Definitive HD 3DI.
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 That thing had more names and titles than an off-brand Nintendo controller.
I remember, it was a while back in the staff Discord, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can join the official Zelda Dungeon Informer Discord channel. Just go to zeldainformer.com or zeldadungeon.net and click on the Discord button on the sidebar. You can join in conversations with myself and other Zelda fans. However, in the staff chat, we were talking about what the NX would eventually be called, and we were coming up with crazy names like New Nintendo Power Enhanced DX, Deluxe, HDMI, DS, stuff like that. And I mean, there would be like a paragraph of just the new Nintendo and then all these different add-ons, and it would be so hilarious. But I'm glad we got Nintendo Switch and not that.
In terms of what I want to see, like you said, I'd like to see a new Animal Crossing game. Because I just imagine ever since we had the Animal Crossing Plaza on the Wii U, and we could see like what they were like in an HD type setting, I've wanted an Animal Crossing game because they have all of those models ready.
Oh, same here. Yeah, Animal Crossing, and not to mention the Animal Crossing mini game and Nintendo Land. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like they have all those models there. Like it's obvious that like they can do this stuff, but we haven't seen anything from them. But I like there, and I'm holding out hope that they're going to have something that's compatible with the mobile game that's coming out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Don't know what
as long as the mobile game does not suck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of. Andy, earlier today, I'm like, I hope the Animal Crossing mobile game doesn't suck. And Andy's like, well, to be fair, how can you muck up Animal Crossing? And I'm like, the last 2 Animal Crossing games that released.
Saw that. I'm hoping for more information on the new Fire Emblem game for the Switch. I'm hoping for more information on Fire Emblem Warriors. I want to see what characters are going to be in that game. What characters I can play as. And I know I'm one of the few people in the world that likes this, but I want to know if the bonding thing is going to be there, where you can have build relationships between 2 characters. Let's say kind of like when you would choose 1, 2, or 3 characters in Hyrule Warriors, playing with 1, 2, or 3 characters in Fire Emblem Warriors. If 2 of them are compatible, they start having alternate conversations with each other. Don't think that that's going to happen, but I really want it to. I want to see the next Pikmin game, because Miyamoto has stated that the 3DS Pikmin game is not the Pikmin game that he was working on. It's not the one that he's finished up on. Which makes me happy, because I love Pikmin. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against that side-scrolling Pikmin game. It just feels a lot like Chibi Robo to me. The Chibi Robo Ziplash. Which is not what I wanted out of a Chibi Robo game. But I want to see that. I want to see, like I said, a new Fire Emblem game. I want to see more on Super Mario Odyssey. At the same time, I also want to see more third-party games that they have planned. Maybe third-party exclusives. Because it's nice to have Call of Duty on the go on the Switch. But I also want to see, CD Projekt Red. I know that that's not on their list, but CD Projekt Red has released a exclusive game for the Switch, or we're getting Prey on the Switch, or just stuff like that would be nice.
I just want Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Switch, please.
Yeah, and there's been talks about Rocket League on the Switch, and stuff like that. And Rocket League, great thing about that game is it's cross-console compatible. So you could play with someone on PC or what have you. And I'd love to do that on the Switch too, because my friends have it on Xbox. But there's that kind of stuff that I want to see at Nintendo's E3. I just really want them to give people... the Switch is selling out like crazy. So I'm not doubting that people want it. I just want them to show people more reasons to buy a Switch and more reasons to want one. And another thing I'd like to see is them release a less expensive Pro controller. Cut out maybe the NFC connector, adapter, or whatever it is inside the controller. Maybe that'll knock it down $10 and I could justify it to myself then. Or maybe even take out the HD Rumble. I don't know necessarily why you'd need that in that specific controller yet, because the only game that really uses it is 1-2 Switch. But I'd buy one without the HD Rumble in it. Maybe that knocked it down to $40. I don't know. I just think that $70 is a bit steep for a controller like that. And I understand why it's priced that way. Don't get me wrong. I just can't justify that to myself.
It's a good controller, though. I mean, it's probably the best controller I've ever used.
That's what a lot of people are saying. And I got to play with it at PAX when I played Breath of the Wild. And I was like, this is kind of how I want to play it. But I cannot afford it. Unless somebody else buys it for me out of the goodness of their heart. I will, if you can, I'll drive to meet you and give you a firm handshake.
Firm handshake. Take him out to dinner or something, dang.
But
get him a cup of coffee.
It's just too expensive for me. So I want to see them release a cheaper version, maybe with some of those features reduced, because I was hoping for the Retro Turbo Fighter Pro controller that Retro Fighters was releasing. I think it was an approved Nintendo third-party accessory for $30. It got pushed back 2 months though, so I canceled my pre-order for that because I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
Rip.
Yep. I figure if all goes well within the next few months, I'll have plenty of money to buy a Pro controller at some point. So, not too worried about that.
Because your honeymoon isn't gonna drain your funds at all.
That's not paid for by me. So, that's the nice part. Yeah, honeymoons aren't paid for by the bride and groom.
I know bride and grooms that have gone on honeymoons they paid for.
Apparently that's not proper. But what do I know? I'm a guy. I don't know anything about weddings.
Yeah.
But anything else you're expecting from E3? Naked women? Anything like that?
I would hope so, but I don't know. Like, I doubt we're gonna see, Nintendo hookers there, but you never know.
Nintendo hookers. Officially licensed Nintendo hookers.
That's great. New Nintendo hooker.
$70.
But
they have HD Rumble and NFC.
Alright, in all seriousness, I'd like to see, I know these are very, very small things, but I'd like to see physical releases for Shovel Knight Treasure Trove and Yooka-Laylee, because I am eventually going to get Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on Switch, because I've played the original Shovel Knight, I played some of the Plague Knight campaign, and I want to play Spectre of Torment.
Good. It's a lot more difficult.
Okay, because I tweeted Yacht Club, and I'm like, yo, can we get, like, physical editions for the Switch? And they're like, nah, fam, but maybe Treasure Trove. I'm like, alright, that's cool. So, maybe that will happen, and then Yooka-Laylee, maybe physical edition, because, Switch storage, it's 32 gigs, even less, because it takes up some of it from the start. And I really don't want to buy an SD card, and plus I'm a physical guy. I bought a Switch case that has like a gazillion different pouches in it for games, and I want to fill those up.
The only downloadable game I've got
but things I want to see nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. I like the fact that Binding of Isaac got its first physical release on the Switch.
Yeah, I do like that, and that they included like the Zelda manual. I thought that was pretty cool.
And the stickers, which I'm using sparingly right now, but I have a few on the back of my laptop right now.
Cool.
It's nice. It's nice being able to have that and carry that around. Again, like you said, I have a case for my games and my Switch, so I'm not hurting for space for those cards. I really wish that they would release more games on them, because I'm still, as much as I like having all the games readily available on the console, Nintendo's consoles are not famous for having lots of space, and that 32 gigabytes will be used up almost as easily as the Wii U's was, and which was terrible because you had to download extra stuff for Xenoblade Chronicle X, so that was gone in a hurry.
And you know what sucked? The other day, I want to buy when it comes out soon. I believe it's called Lego City Undercover something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's some freaking Lego game that everyone says is amazing, and I used to like Lego games, so I'm like, why not? Nate said it was pretty good. But then the packaging was shown online, and it said that even in the physical edition, that you would need a 13 gigabyte download, which was weird because it's like, why have a cartridge if you just need to have a 13 gigabyte download anyways? But so I was really mad. But then a couple days later, some guy from Warner Brothers told GameSpot, IGN, one of those places, that is not the case. So, but the eShop, the eShop, oh, the case, I get it. But the eShop like lists. I don't know. I was reading a Nintendo Everything article, and there was something on the eShop that indicated that too. So
I think it was a 20 gigabyte download.
Yeah,
because the game is a 7 gigabyte game, is what I've heard. This is what I've heard. I'm not saying this is a fact. The game is a 7 gigabyte game, and then the download's 13 gigabytes, but that the download on the eShop was a 20 gigabyte download.
Yeah.
And again, that's
something
a lot of.
like that.
And this is weird because even the Wii U released with a 64 gigabyte version, the Switch didn't. And as you know, SD cards aren't cheap. I've got another 32 gigabyte one in there already, but they're not. 32 gigabyte SD cards, $30.
I wouldn't even bother with another 32 gigabyte SD card, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, at least 200.
Oh, no, I just had this one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go out and buy one. No, I've got a bunch of SD cards from like cameras and stuff that I just don't use.
Nice. I have like one micro SD card. It's in my phone.
Yeah. And I typically buy micro SD cards anyways because it always comes with a bigger SD card plug-in. So if you need the micro SD card for something, you have it, and you don't have to worry about not having the right sized one. But it still would be nice to have more space. I guess it's a size thing. I don't know. It's what I'm gonna probably just chalk it up to and stop complaining about it. Because like, I mean, you can get like a 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte iPod or something, but those are friggin' expensive, and I guess they want it to be more consumer affordable and thin and small enough to be portable.
I guess.
I don't know. I'm spitballing, shooting in the dark, trying to justify Nintendo's weird decisions.
Buy physical.
I'd say help GameStop stay in business, but I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, I think GameStop actually said that they're on the decline right now.
Yeah, they're closing a lot of stores.
Even though the Switch kind of helped them along a bit, but they said that they were kind of going spiraling downwards.
Well, they've put a lot of money in a lot of really bad places. Like I know that the Game Trust is like their big thing now in publishing, but the way that they shelled out stuff for Song of the Deep was like fiscally irresponsible in ways that I don't think I've seen a company do something like that unless it's the company called the United States of America.
Ooh.
But
we're still getting political after the last podcast, I guess.
But the way that they handled Song of the Deep was handled poorly because they made all the copies, the physical copies, for the different platforms. They did the download codes, that's fine. But then they were like, okay, let's make shirts, mugs, keychains, a pop figure, a special edition pop figure, and let's have these mass-produced. Like, thousands upon thousands of them just distributed everywhere. So we have that much faith in this game. And then they did zero advertising for it. And so you're like, what's this game? Why do I want it? Why are there shirts for it everywhere? And it wasn't like that great of a game either. I haven't played it, but I've heard a lot of reviews on it. It's like Baby's first Metroidvania game. Says, I think Greg from Kinda Funny. And it's not bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, when you're that confident in something that you have no reason to be that confident in, you put all your cards on the table for it, and I don't know how much you really deserve to stay in business. Plus, the way you've been treating your employees the past decade.
Ooh.
I mean, you're setting yourself up for failure, GameStop.
GameStop rant.
Yeah. Not a lot of people. I don't think I've actually ever heard
Of a positive experience from someone working at GameStop. Which is not a good thing. You typically don't want to leave a job with bad impressions, but we'll see what happens in the future.
This is kind of what happened to Blockbuster. I know that's a dated sentence because probably a lot of you listening either don't know what it is or you remember it fondly enough to know what it is. But yeah, that was went the same way. And it's not because of... I don't think this is because of people aren't buying physical games. I guarantee you they still are. I just think it's a lot of the decisions that GameStop has been making, especially with their Circle of Life program, which is just a bunch of BS. It's interesting. And I can't wait to see where this goes, because then we're going to see places probably like Best Buy, and I guess other video media outlets pump up their game sales, and they'll probably have more exclusives, and there's that. But I think there's also the fact that a lot of people are just ordering their physical copies off of Amazon with next day shipping. So
right.
A lot of factors probably leading to the downfall of GameStop.
Can we have the banner for this podcast just be a cutout of you and then the GameStop logo and then just like in big block letters, rant?
I don't know. I don't want to make a render of myself. I hate the way I look. You get to see self-conscious Alfred there. Although I am pretty proud of the render of Colin that I made for the last podcast.
Yeah, every time I type in zellinformer.com, I see Colin's beautiful face in that very offensive tweet. I love
it. Yeah, I'm proud of how that one turned out. In terms of the banner, there's some discussion on that too. That it got a little heated. That's okay. We're all human. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for today. What do you think? Got anything else to say?
I think that Lionel suck. The only reason I say that is because I spent like the past couple days grinding Lionels to upgrade the Barbarian armor, and I finally got a pattern down, so they're not as hard. They're actually pretty easy now, but legit harder than Calamity Ganon. Like, I beat Calamity Ganon like that, whatever, but taking on a Lionel, that took a while.
I noticed that. I was like, Calamity Ganon was super easy. Didn't really take any damage, didn't die, but beating a Lionel is one of the hardest things I've done in a Zelda game ever. Aside from that stupid beaver race in Majora's Mask. I hated that.
Stasis Plus really helps. Stasis Plus and any sort of arrow that is not a regular arrow.
Stupid beaver race is giving me PTSD.
PTSD from a freaking beaver race. That's great.
I wanted that bottle, okay? 100% of Majora's Mask every single time. I have to do that stupid bottle race.
Oh my goodness.
I was about to say, I'm glad there's nothing that frivolous in this game, but you have to collect 900 Korok seeds in order to complete the game 100%.
Oh, still not as frustrating as 100%ing Breath of the Wild with the freaking compendium and 900 Korok seeds.
Yep. But yeah, we're just ranting at this point, so we'll cut it there. But we will see you guys next week, I hope. If my mic
I got it. Alfred, put Nintendo hookers in the banner.
I'm not going to look up hookers to put in a banner.
Just Google
the podcast.
Hookers. See what comes up.
No, I'm good,
Okay.
I'd draw a stick figure hooker before I did anything like that.
Do it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. So if you saw a weird stick figure in the banner and you were wondering what that was, now you know.
It was a Nintendo hooker. Oh boy. Where's my life going?
I don't know.
Alright, we'll see you guys next week.
Alright, see ya.